Lately, you might have heard people use the term Bidenomics to describe the state of the economy in the US. In this video, I will be describing what Bidenomics means, but more importantly, what it means for your money. The economy in the US right now is dominated by three main things: slow growth, high inflation, and low unemployment. This is a very strange mix, and it has confused a lot of economists, because normally during a period of slow growth, you might have high unemployment, but not low unemployment. Because of this, there's a lot of confusion about the best way to tackle the economic problems in the US. The Biden administration has responded to this crisis with an approach they call Bidenomics. Bidenomics is Joe Biden's policies on how to address the economy. 2 months ago, the Biden White House released a memo where they explain Bidenomics. I'm not going to go through everything they say in this memo because it's basically a long list of them saying how great they are. But I can summarize, in general, their approach. They are promoting the typical liberal tax and spend policies with a twist. It is now tax, spend, and borrow. They want to raise people's taxes, spend large amounts of government money, and borrow large amounts of money to pay for everything. I think it's important to understand that a lot of the problems we face in the economy today are the result of these policy decisions. I hear a lot of people say that our current problems are because of the pandemic, but that's not true anymore. Biden has been president for almost 3 years. We are feeling the impact of his liberal economic policy. Let's look at some of the things you may be experiencing right now. High gas prices. This is not the fault of the pandemic. In 2020, in the presidential debate between Biden and Trump, Biden said, "I would transition away from the oil industry." He literally told us he was going to do this, and now you are paying enormous amounts for gas. Here's a great chart showing the historic price of gas under previous presidents. You can see a huge difference between Trump and Biden. That is the result of policy. Bidenomics says that you will pay more for gas. Inflation. Gas is not the only thing going up in price. Food, housing, almost everything is becoming more expensive. Just so you can visualize how bad inflation is, here's a chart of the M1 money supply. This shows how much money is in the economy. It is pretty obvious that the amount of money in the economy has skyrocketed. You can also see this in the increase in US debt. Now, in both of these charts, a big increase came from the pandemic. But if the pandemic was a one-time emergency, the debt should have gone back down afterwards. It's like the government put all these emergency powers in place, and then they never went away again. I never agreed to that. Did you? Under Joe Biden, the pandemic is over, but for some reason, the debt keeps going higher. That is why I said before that Biden is not just a tax and spend liberal, he is a tax, spend, and borrow liberal. They are borrowing all of this money, causing inflation, and there is no plan to pay it back. Lower wages. Because of inflation, most people are experiencing lower wages. Now you might say, I recently just got a raise. I know lots of people who got raises. What do you mean my wages are going down? Even if you got a raise, inflation means that you will be able to buy less with your paycheck. Here's a chart showing real hourly earnings during the Biden presidency. This shows that everyone's purchasing power is going down. This is showing that everyone in America got a 3.16% pay cut. Bidenomics means that you got a pay cut. So if it feels like you are having a hard time paying your bills each month, that is because it is. Homelessness. The US is experiencing a growing homeless problem. Here are the latest statistics. Now, you have to be careful with homeless statistics because there is not a very accurate way to count homeless people. The person who releases these statistics is the federal government. So they have an incentive to sugarcoat these numbers. Personally, I think these numbers are too low, but this is the best information we have. You can see that homelessness is growing. There is no data from 2021 because of the pandemic. But even more concerning is the amount of chronic homelessness, which is people who have been homeless for more than 1 year. It is climbing fast. Again, people are not homeless because of the pandemic. People are homeless because they cannot pay their rent. I don't understand why more people are not talking about this. Here's a chart of rent prices in the US. This is what is causing homelessness. People cannot pay rent, and so they are living in tents on the street. During the Great Depression, a similar thing happened. People lived in massive homeless encampments called Hoovervilles, named after President Herbert Hoover. This is the very same thing. Joe Biden's policies are creating homeless encampments. That's Bidenomics. Bank failures. You are probably aware of the recent massive bank failures in the US. Some people will point out that Trump also had bank failures during his time as president. If someone is making that argument, they don't know what they're talking about. Here's the data from the FDIC on the amount of money involved in the bank failures. So there were bank failures during Trump, but their impact was so minor that you can barely see them on this chart. What you do see is the destruction of the banking system under Joe Biden. All these things going on are the result of Bidenomics. It is the high gas prices, inflation, lower wages, homelessness, and bank failures. These are the direct results of policy decisions by Joe Biden. Now, at this point, you might be asking yourself, why would anyone make those decisions? Why would Joe Biden choose to do things that hurt so many Americans? That's a great question, and I might ask the same thing. It is horrible what is happening, but you are asking the wrong question. You should be asking, who benefits? Who benefits from high gas prices? Who benefits from homelessness? Who benefits from bank failures? Because there is someone who benefits from all these things, and it's probably not you. It is the big donors to Joe Biden. One of the defining features of our economy right now is the retirement of the baby boomers. People don't realize what a big impact this has. Here's a chart showing the percentage of retirees in the US. You can see it has been growing with a huge jump during the pandemic. And now retirees make up almost 20% of the population. Think about that. It went from 15% to 20% in a decade. That's a big shift. In fact, there's a report issued by the Federal Reserve that not many people know about. In the report, they say, as of October 2022, the retired share of the U.S. population was nearly 1.5 percentage points above its pre-pandemic level, accounting for nearly all of the shortfall in the labor force participation rate. So the low unemployment is largely driven not from the economy doing well, but because people are retiring. These are people who are no longer working, no longer contributing to GDP, and at the same time drawing Social Security and Medicare. We have all of these happy retirees who are looking forward to enjoying the retirement they have earned throughout years of hard work. Now put yourself in the shoes of the mega donors to Joe Biden. Who are the mega donors? Mostly large corporations. For example, Microsoft. Now, I'm not picking on Bill Gates. It could be any large corporation. Amazon, Pfizer, Raytheon. any of these major corporations donate large amounts of money to politicians to protect their interests? Well, it turns out that many of these large corporations have responsibilities to retirees. They have to pay pensions and retirement plans. If you go to the financial statements of most large corporations, you will find that their pension plans are massively underfunded. They don't have the money to pay you for your retirement. So Bidenomics is in the best interest of any major corporation who has a lot of debt and unfunded pension liabilities. They want massive inflation. Inflation is a secret tax on anyone who has savings. It makes dollars worth less, so it costs less for corporations to pay their debts. Meanwhile, if you are a retiree who is living off your savings, the amount of money you have in the bank becomes worth less and less and less. So retirees are essentially paying a secret tax on their own savings to pay for their own retirement. And at the same time, mega donors are laughing it up with their favorite politician, Joe Biden. They don't care about inflation because they just raise their prices. If you're watching this video and you are over 65 years old, I hope you realize you're getting screwed. Bidenomics is screwing over the older generation for the benefit of Joe Biden's mega donors. So what can you do about this? Most people do not realize how much power you have. You have a voice, and you can vote these people out of office. It is time that someone in Washington, D.C. looked out for the best interest of the American people. Retirees who have worked their whole lives should be protected and celebrated. Now, I've not endorsed any candidates on this channel. I always want to give candidates the opportunity to change my mind during the debates. But I am telling you right now, I have some big problems with Bidenomics. And I hope someone asks Joe Biden during the debates why he isn't looking out for the American people. Now I want to hear from you. Do you have a problem with Bidenomics? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I have more videos coming out that you don't want to miss. Also, my video last week did get demonetized. So there's a target on my back because I am not afraid to speak out against the people in power. If you like these videos, consider supporting the channel with a monthly membership. Your support really helps keep this channel going. You can sign up for $6 a month on my website, wolvesandfinance.com. Head over to the website, click to join the club to support today. I'm Zach from Wolves and Finance. Thank you for watching.